Hello, I decided to do my paper on a Walt Disney movie that's really popular. It is called Frozen. Frozen is known to be the movie that all the kids sing to and even the adults love it. It is a happy movie. It is a family-oriented movie that Walt Disney has put out for us to enjoy. As some of you may know, Disney movies is known for the subliminal messages that they portray throughout their movies. Most of their movies have underlying meanings that most children won't be able to catch on until they get older. This movie in particular has a lot of underlying meanings and a lot of things that if you don't really pay attention to, you could miss it at a drop of the hat. The movie starts off as Elsa and Anna, which are the two main characters, being young girls, and Elsa finding out that she has superpowers. The superpowers were her being able to produce snow and ice. She thought these superpowers were something to play with. She and her sister used to always wake up in the middle of the night and they used to make this snowman named Olaf, and they would just play around and just make snowmen and have a blizzard right inside of the castle. It was not until one night where Elsa was making almost like stair steps out of snow and she made a mistake and hit Anna, and it injured Anna. After injuring her sister, it really put fear in her heart and she was just really afraid to use her powers. The fear of her using her powers definitely put her inside of a box. So with her not using her powers, she didn't seem like herself. She even went to the extreme of locking herself in the room and not having any contact with her family. As she had gotten older, her powers had also grew. So she started wearing gloves to conceal the power of her hands. Not too long after her figuring out how to control her powers, her parents passed away at sea, and she was the next person in line to overtake the throne. In her kingdom, you had to have a coronation in order to take over the throne. And in the coronation, the whole kingdom came and partake in the ceremony. And as I stated before, she was very to herself. She didn't come out of her room. She didn't socialize with anybody. She got her food through her door. Without going into too much detail, I believe Elsa suffers from generalized anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder, also the acronym is GAD, is known as a common disorder that is portrayed by an inescapable, redundant, hard to control state of anxiety and or worry that is at least the minimum of 6 months. So Elsa had really bad anxiety when it came to her powers. She was so nervous and just so always walking on eggshells when she thought about the powers and what they could do. She did not like to be around people. She didn't even like to be around her own sister because she just thought that something bad was going to happen. So her anxiety pretty much took over her whole demeanor. Individuals that suffer with GAD have a difficulty of concentrating, body restlessness, muscle tension, and there's also other symptoms that they go through, like they don't get any sleep. It is also said that women is more common to get GAD than men. My understanding for the DSM is the 4Ds, which is disturbance, dysfunction, distress, and deviant, which are all carefully observed to determine if the syndrome is in fact a mental disorder. The Elsa definitely had all 4Ds. She had dysfunction. She had deviant or irregular behavior. She also was distressed in her life, and she is just she just couldn't get it together, all in all. Therapies that I recommended for Elsa was drugs, of course, which are anti-anxiety drugs, is also known as Valium, and a psychotherapy where she could talk and let her feelings out and just say how she really feels about what's going on in her life. The approach of these two therapies, I think, should be intertwined because I feel like two therapies or two treatments are better than one. Both of them can work with each other and play with each other in order for them to help the greater good of the patient. So another explanation of me saying that is the drugs and the psychotherapy, they go hand in hand. Even though some people may think drugs may do it or they may think the psychotherapy may do it, I think if you combine the two, it will make the treatment so much better, and it will make it so much more valuable to the patient and the psychiatrist, that it would help in the long run. Generalized anxiety disorder is something that a lot of Americans deal with on a day-to-day basis. Mental health should be definitely something that is more talked about in our society, and it should not be downplayed. Mental health is something that helps us thrive as human beings